You ever film yourself on your phone talking about the 9 to 5 lifestyle and working 5 days a week and barely having any time for yourself and hopefully retiring when you're 60? Have you ever done it in a dark car like a creep show? Anyway, that's besides the point. It makes a good thumbnail. Well, you think that you're a slave. You think that life is meaningless. This is as bad as it gets. It's not a real life. Well, you need to give your head a shake. Your scale is messed up. And I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes why your scale is wrong and how your scale is really supposed to look. So let's go to the whiteboard, shall we? Okay, let's talk about the scale. I know I look a lot better in the shadows than I do in daylight, but anyway, let's talk about the scale. All right, so here's the beginning of the scale over here. We'll start it over here, okay? This is the point where we'll draw a little happy face here. See, happy face. That's where you're going to be happy, okay? Now, your scale goes from about here to here. Man, that's a crooked line. Anyway, so here. Now, since you did a video in your car and you were crying about working 9 to 5 or somewhere along those lines, the equivalent of 9 to 5. You're working every day, paying bills. It's a grind. You're a slave to the system, blah, blah, blah. So I'm assuming that, we'll call this 9 to 5. I'm assuming that 9 to 5 is the bottom of your scale, okay? So this is your most unhappy, and you want to get to here where you're happy. And there's steps in between on the scale, all right? Somewhere in here could be, we'll put an E here for entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurialship. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to work for yourself because we all know you're going to have lots of free time when you work for yourself and you have your own business, right? Okay. There's many different steps in here, but it's a pretty short scale. You're working 9 to 5. You're working every day for the man. You're just getting by paying your bills, and you're miserable, and you want to get to the happy part, the end of the scale, the ultimate happiness. It's different for everybody on what this is, but you want to get there, and you know you're not there right now because this is the worst possible outcome for you, to be working 9 to 5. Okay, now the scale really, the happiness scale really is something like this. So we're just going to draw a really, really, really long line, okay, with a bunch of more points in between. Now, there's no whiteboard big enough in the world to fit all the millions of points that you can fit on the scale for bad things that are worse than working 9 to 5, having a regular job and paying bills. There's literally a million things in here for everybody that are worse than here. So really, the real scale is you're here on the happiness scale, and there's a lot of places you can be that's worse than that. So the end of the scale we'll call hell. Okay, so that's the worst part on the scale that you can be. You're in hell, and that's different for everybody too. What your definition of hell is. Just as an example, maybe you're born with a genetic defect, some kind of disease, and you spend every minute of every day of your short life in misery. Okay, that would be hell. You were born without health. Maybe you were born to really shitty parents who mistreat you. You can even use the scale. You can use time travel on the scale. Maybe instead of being born in the 90s or the 80s or the 2000s, you were born in 1930s Germany and you're a Jew, right? Just imagine that. If you were born in that time and you were that kind of person, that would be a very bad situation. There's many, many things from hell to working 9 to 5 that are worse than 9 to 5, if you get what I'm saying. So you have to increase the size of your scale, and you'll find that you'll instantly feel happier. But wait a minute, I'm just pointing out really bad things that can be worse than your current situation to make you feel better. Yes, exactly. You're right. You got it. So when you do something like this, it's not like you're relishing the misfortunes of others, or you're just thinking of bad things that could be worse than your current situation to make yourself feel better, there's a word for this. It begins with P. What do you think that word is? It's perspective. Perspective. You see, you get a new perspective on life when you increase your scale to incorporate the really bad things that can happen to you in life that are a lot worse than just working every day and paying your bills and then hopefully retiring when you're 65 if you don't die first. There's a lot worse things. It's called perspective. And the whole thing, when you think in terms of the scale of life and where you are, you're really way up here, right? Now imagine, you got to keep in mind, this line is like 10 miles long, okay? To get to hell. There's a lot of things that can be in here, a lot of different things. So thinking in terms of the grand scale of things and your place on earth and how you won the lottery by being born in a Western world, a Western country, and you've won the birth lottery, first of all. You're better off than literally billions and billions of people. Knowing this and thinking in these terms instead of being stuck in your own little world and filming yourself in your car and crying about the day-to-day struggles of life, not being able to go on that vacation, deferring joy for a little while you accumulate some money, whatever. There's a whole bunch of different things. And I understand there's different levels too. There are people that are really struggling to make ends meet. I'm not dismissing any of that. And I'm not dismissing your thoughts on it. It's okay to be dissatisfied. It's okay to get pissed off. It's okay to get frustrated. I got loads of problems myself. Like, I'm with you. I don't work 9 to 5. I work 6:30 to 6:30 with an hour commute each way. So that's a 14-hour day. But the second word and the final word that I'm going to introduce here is thinking in terms of this and thinking about how lucky you really are and how it's not that bad, and increasing your scale with perspective is a form of gratitude. You are showing gratitude for what you do have. It's very important. Again, everybody's different. Everyone's got their own set of problems. But I think just the fact that you have a phone and you have time to watch this video and you have an internet connection and you have anything, you have something to be thankful for. You have something to be grateful for. So just think about it. Think about the scale. Zoom out a little bit and get some perspective. And maybe instead of filming yourself complaining about being a slave to this society, maybe you could find a way to change it around for yourself or find the positives in it. And it can work. It can work. So, yeah, I hope this helps. All right, see you later.